Hey you guys, it's Teresa and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the series I plan on finishing in 2018. Surprisingly, it's not that long. But without further ado, let's just jump right in. So the first series on this list is one I recently picked up in 2017, and that is To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. Now for those, I don't know if it's a trilogy or a series with 4 books, I don't know what you would call that. A saga, maybe? I don't know, there's just 4 books in there, I think. But if you guys haven't heard about it, it's about this girl named Laura Jean who writes letters to all the boys she's ever loved before, and those letters end up getting out. And one of those letters is written for her sister's boyfriend. So in order to hide the fact that, hey, she's been in love with her sister's boyfriend, she dates one of her previous crushes, which starts another thing that is just, it's just a whirlwind. The next series on this list is the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. I'm currently reading the second book, which is Scarlet, and I love this series. For those of you guys who don't know, it involves like the plague coming back, people from the moon trying to take over the earth, cyborgs and androids, and all this fun stuff. So hopefully I'll get a chance to finish it. I'm pretty sure the series should be done by now. Pretty sure. Could be wrong. The next book is a trilogy, and for those of you guys who don't know, and you shouldn't be surprised that this series is on here, and that is the Dark Artificer by Cassandra Clare. The last book's coming out in December, and I just finished Lord of Shadows last month, and I am still an emotional wreck. Yeah. But for those of you guys who don't know, the Dark Artifices is the continuation of the Mortal Instruments in a sense. We have new characters, and it takes place like I think 6-ish years since the last book. So we have Julian and Emma Carstairs, who are parabatai, and it's a big no-no for parabatai to fall in love, and well, what do you know? They do. So it's just kind of them figuring things out, along with the fairy coming in and some weird prophecy involving blackthorn blood, and it's just a mess of emotions, and I'm not mentally prepared for the series to be over, or to find out what happens when the series is over. The next one is of Fire and Stars by Audrey Coulthurst. And I thought this was going to be a standalone series, but I was scrolling through her author page on Goodreads and her reviews and everything, and I found out that we're not only getting a prequel, which is Ink Mistress, which will be out later this year, but also a sequel to Of Fire and Stars, which I don't know when that's coming out or what it will be titled, but either way, I'm really excited because Ink Mistress has gay demigods, and Of Fire and Stars has gay princesses, and who doesn't need more of that in the world? Like, come on, you guys. But for those of you who haven't heard of Fire and Stars, it's about these 2 princesses. One has magical powers, which is a big no-no in this world, and that princess is meant to marry the other princess's brother, and then they end up falling in love, and it's just wonderful, and it's grand, and whoever, like Audrey Coulthurst's writing is just perfect because gay princesses. Like, who doesn't love that? I didn't think I needed that kind of love story until now. The next series on this list is The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. I am prolonging reading The Raven King because I know what happens, because it's been foreshadowed and mentioned several times in the books, and I'm not mentally prepared to know what happens to the characters. You guys, I can't do it. But The Raven Cycle is about, has Welsh kings, and this kid named Gansey is very interested in finding this Welsh king and getting his wish granted, and there's like psychics and weird assassin people and people who can see the future, and Blue Sergeant who can't see the future but can amplify people's powers, and then we have Ronan, and it's just, I really can't describe the book without like overwhelming you with information, because there's a lot of information. So I'm just gonna leave it with, if you haven't seen it, go pick it up. There's a lot of it's a lot of things meshed into a book you didn't know you needed. That's all I can really say. The second to last series on this list is The Uglies by Scott Westerfield. Now, The Uglies focuses on how you are basically ugly until you turn 16, and then you get this magical procedure that fixes kind of your facial structure and like your bone structure and everything to have you fit society standards, and then you move out of the place where the uglies live into the pretties place, if that makes sense. And this follows a teen who ends up meeting people who actually don't want to be like beautiful, and how the procedure that they're put under is actually not the best thing in the world. I read this in middle school and I picked it up again a couple of years ago, and it's one of those books that like I tell myself I'm going to read and it's going to happen. I'm going to finish the series. It'll be great. And then I forget about the series, and then I have to pick up the first book again, but I don't have the second book to continue on with it. So then we just revert the cycle. So hopefully, with all my circular hand motions, I'll be able to pick up the second book this year. The last series on this list is Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. Now for those of you, actually I'm pretty sure you guys should have heard about this because the first book's now a movie, but it follows Louisa Clark, who is taking care of a quadriplegic. He has zero function of everything in his body, but like from like I think the neck down is from what I can remember of the book. And I don't want to like put a label on it unless I mislabel it, so we're just going to leave it at that. And it ends up kind of her and his relationship developing, and she takes care of him, and how not everything can be solved with like love and magical pretty fluff and whatnot. And the series the rest of the series follows Louisa after the fact. So we have the first series, which follows their love story, and the second one after, the second and third after. So it looks really interesting. I don't know how Jojo Moyes managed to make it into a trilogy or a series. I'm not sure, but I kind of want to see how the rest of the story unfolds, and if I like it just as much as the first book, which completely destroyed me emotionally. Even the movie destroyed me emotionally, because I was dumb and read and watched the movie before the book. And then I was sobbing in the theater, and everyone in the theater was looking at me because they hadn't known that I hadn't read the book yet. And I was also in a foreign country. So that made it even better. But that is it for the series that I plan on finishing in 2018. If any of these series are books you haven't picked up yet or want to pick up, please leave them in the comments below, and maybe I'll do like a series review when I finish them. We'll see. But until Tuesday, but yeah, I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Hope you have a great weekend. Bye.